This is Mike Sylvia with New Bedford Guide. I'm here with Kathy. She's the sister of Sabrina DaSilva. That name should be familiar to you. So she was the 19-year-old girl that was shot and killed on July 3rd while she was pulling groceries out of her car around 10 o'clock at night. Sabrina left behind a 2-year-old daughter, which is important because we have a GoFundMe account that she has set up, Kathy has set up, and this is to help raise. And she set the GoFundMe way too low. I talked to her about that. We want to really blow through it and get this family. The mom is going to take care of the 2-year-old. So why don't you talk about Sabrina as a sister?
She was my heart. Sabrina was an amazing person with a beautiful soul. She was alive. You could never be in a bad mood around her because she would say, hey, shake it off, shake it off. It's all good, you know, do whatever's gonna make you happy, and if people don't like it, it's okay. She was 19. She was young and just didn't deserve what happened. Me and Sabrina have an age gap of about 9.5 years. So I remember when she came home and she started growing. She was funny. She was really funny. She loved to dance. I think I might have had something to do with that when she was really little. When people would go to church, like my grandparents lived downstairs. We lived in a small second floor apartment. And I would put her in her little bassinet and I'd put some music on and we'd dance. And at the time, I think Spice Girls were the hit. So we would just dance, and I would dance with her all over the house. It was awesome. As she grew, we might have had disagreements because of our age gap, but we always loved each other very much so. Sabrina, she made her decisions as a young girl. She had dropped out of high school, and me and my mother always pushed her and said, listen, you gotta go back, you gotta go back, you have to do this, you really, really do. And she listened. I made a deal with her. I said, listen, you go back and you get your GED, and I'm gonna give you my old car. She looked at me and she says, that's a deal I'll take. So she went, she got her GED, and I gave her the car. She was so happy. Actually last year I graduated from BCC myself with my business degree, and when I walked down that stage and I grabbed my diploma, when the ceremony was done, she ran up to me and she gave me the absolute biggest hug. And she looked at me and kissed me and said, listen, sis, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I want you guys to be proud of me too. I want to go to school. I want to go to BCC. And I said, well, that's wonderful. And whatever you need help with, I'm here for you. We'll go fill out some applications. We'll see what we have to do for placement tests. And she says, I want to try to do this on my own. And she did. She went there. She spoke to the counselors. She got herself enrolled. She wanted to be an interpreter. She had a passion for languages. My aunt married a gentleman, a very, very nice man who was like a father to Sabrina. My uncle Tony, he's Lebanese. And she was fascinated with the Arabic culture and their language and their food and dancing and the language itself. And her and my uncle would speak Arabic to each other all the time. And Sabrina self-taught herself from online and with my uncle. She learned how to write it. She learned how to read it. She wasn't that good at reading it yet, but she did. She spoke Portuguese fluently. She spoke Spanish. She spoke English. She spoke Arabic. And she was taking some classes of Hebrew and Greek as well. She was interested in. She just was a very passionate young lady and so bright. Like honestly, the things that she did, I don't even know how. She was so smart, how she could even self-teach herself to do all of these things. She was beautiful, and she loved beauty. I guess some of the things that maybe the beauty bones that I missed, she got triple. My sister was a licensed nail technician. She worked at a nail salon. She loved it. When Sabrina was younger, it's funny because she had different phases in her life that she went through. One of the phases was when she was really, really young, she had a fascination with bacteria. And we would get her little allowance, a couple of bucks here, a couple of bucks there. And what a different kid. Instead of going and blowing it on candy and ice cream, She would come home with like Lysol and Fabuloso and then stay in the bathroom and scrub down the whole bathroom to get rid of all of the bacteria that she possibly could. It was so funny. Then she kind of moved on from there and she started getting into nails and beauty. She was so good at it. I remember she would get like these old CD cases, the clear ones, and what she did was my mother bought her the little acrylic nails, and on those nails she took a little brush and she would do designs, all different kinds of designs, so she could show people and say, hey, if you want a design, here's an idea. She could do a little SpongeBob if you wanted to, and it came out perfect. She learned how to make her homemade wax. She was just amazing. She learned how to thread on her own, and these are things that she never had anybody show her. She was just so smart. She really did, and I know that my sister would have had a very bright future ahead of her. You know, as she grew, she was working at a nail salon, and people, the outpour, there's so many people that on the GoFundMe account or even at the wake and the funeral that came up to me and my family and my mother and said, you don't know who I am, but I knew Sabrina. And they would smile and say she was wonderful. When she would do my nails, the owner of this nail salon would say, hey, Sabrina, you gotta hurry it up a little bit. And Sabrina's like, I know, because she loved to talk. She loved to listen, she loved to help and give advice, and she really gave good advice too. She was just a wonderful, wonderful soul. There wasn't one holiday or one moment that we saw each other. Every time we saw each other, we would dance together. She would tire me out. Oh my goodness. And I would sweat, and I'm like, Sabrina, you gotta slow it down. She's like, come on, live a little. That was the type of girl that she was. Actually, she wasn't a girl, she was a woman. She was a beautiful woman. Losing my sister is absolutely the most difficult thing that I've ever had to go through in my whole entire life. It's that bond that I will never be able to share with another individual. All those times of those memories and things from when we were little about mom, just things that happened in our family, the things that we whispered to each other that only me and her remember are now gone. All I have now is a memory of my sister. I'd like to show you guys a photo. It's actually a photo that I hold very dear to myself, very close to my heart. This is a picture of Sabrina, my sister, and my niece Victoria. And one of the reasons why I really, really love this picture is because this hoodie that my sister is wearing and this t-shirt and this shirt, they were mine. They were hand-me-downs from me. I gave them to her because they didn't fit me anymore. And then I look over here in the back and I see my baby, and I look at this smile and the sun shining in her face. And what you see here is a beautiful woman in a photo and a beautiful soul. She was a great mother. She would do anything for her little girl, anything at all. And she protected her little baby girl. I look at this photo and I think, as time and years go by, this is all I'll have. This is all I'll have. I'll always have our little nugget, Victoria, my beautiful niece. And I just want to me and my mother want to do right by her. We want to make sure that she goes to school. We want to make sure that she grows to be a beautiful woman. I want to put her in swimming classes. We want to put her in ballet classes to live her mother's legacy. I want my niece to always remember her mother and how much her mother loved her. I'm always going to be auntie, and Vava, grandma, will always be grandma. And I want her to know that this beautiful woman is her mother, and she loved her very much. It just really breaks my heart not knowing why somebody would do something like this to my sister. She was definitely a fireball. Oh man, me and her always would bump heads every once in a while. She would say things to me sometimes, oh, well, this is what I want to do. And I'd be like, hey, as the oldest sister, cool it down, girl, cool it down. It's probably not the best idea. And then all of a sudden, when Sabrina got upset, her nostrils would flare. She would flare her nostrils, and I knew she was pissed. So just things that I'll remember.
So let's talk about that night. So July 3rd, obviously 4th of July is never going to be the same. 10 o'clock, on your GoFundMe, you said she was shot 9 times by a man in a ski mask.
As far as it, couldn't tell from what neighbors had said. There's a lot of rumors going on, and I know that it's an ongoing investigation. There's a lot of he said, she said. I do know there were some people that said that it looked like he was wearing a mask. I'm not sure if it was a mask, but I know that it was something where his face was covered. It was covered. Whether his whole head, whether it be a hoodie, it was definitely covered. I couldn't say for sure if it is, and I don't want to be here and tell people, yes, it was absolutely a ski mask if I'm not 100% sure of it, but I do know that this was something that I believe his motive was to go there and do destruction and make it happen. It was a terrible night, terrible night. Nobody deserves to get that phone call. Absolutely no one. It's terrifying. I remember my friend and my fiance were home, and we decided to have a little bonfire. We have a little fire pit outside, and I went to Cumbies because it was the closest place, and it was already like 10, almost 10 at night, to get some wood. So we went, me and my friend, we grabbed some wood, we come back. My cousin Matt had come by, and we're kind of hanging out. I remember I went into our spare room. We had some like lawn chairs and stuff that are fold up, and I was bringing those out so we could sit around the fire and just kind of relax a little bit. I mean, it's 4th of July weekend. All of a sudden, my phone is ringing off the hook, and I'm trying to grab chairs. When I get on the phone with my mother is frantically crying, saying, "You need to get here right now. Something happened to Sabrina. I think she's been shot." I said, "I'll be right there." Honestly, it was God who protected me. I left my house so fast. I ran down those stairs. I don't know if I locked my doors. I just remember getting into my vehicle and speeding. I blew every red light, every stop sign, and I thank Jesus for protecting me and others, because I was just so distraught. As soon as I remember shaking in my vehicle, and I don't text and drive ever. I just want to make that very clear. But I was shaking, driving, trying to scroll and get to her contact so that I could call her. And as soon as I found that phone number, I called my sister. And it rang once, and my heart was beating so fast. It rang again. It rang again. My heart started to sink a little bit every ring until it went to voicemail. And I knew something was wrong. As I approached my mother's apartment complex, the whole neighborhood was lit up in blue lights from the police officers. I remember just parking. I don't know if it was in the middle of the street. Everything was with caution tape everywhere. I just know that I got out of my vehicle with a quickness and said, officer, I think my sister's been shot." He said, "What's her name?" I said, "Sabrina." And he said, "What does she look like?" I said, she's very light-skinned, brown hair with some highlights in it. And he looked at me and he says, "You need to get to the hospital now." I ran and I said, "Where's my mother? Where's my mother?" And I saw my mother freaking out when the neighbors are holding her. One of the neighbors went and knocked on her door. My mother's neighbor Carol, she had left her phone in her car, and she had her boyfriend John go downstairs and get her phone. John is the one who went downstairs, and when he saw, somebody else already had called the police, but John saw my sister in bags of groceries and groceries spilled all over the floor. He ran up the stairs and said, "Carol, you need to go tell Lillian that I think her daughter's in trouble." So they ran to my mother's apartment, and they said, "Did your daughter go grocery shopping?" And my mother said, "Yeah, why? What's wrong? Why are you asking?" And they said, "You need to go downstairs now." My mother, something's wrong. My mother left the baby with the neighbor Carol, who's a very trusted, good friend of my mother. She took Victoria. My mother ran down the stairs without even shoes. When I saw my mother, she's sitting there barefoot on the sidewalk in the parking lot in the back of the complex, crying frantically, not knowing what to do. The first thing I did is, because I was home, I had flip-flops on, and I happened to have socks, which was actually probably a good thing, because I took my shoes off and I gave them to my mother. I gave her my sandals and I said, "You need to wear these," and I ran in socks into my vehicle, and I told the police officers, "You need to bring my mother," and I got in my vehicle and I rushed to St. Luke's. It was, when we got into the little room, which took a while, the security guards, all they were able to do was assure us that Sabrina was there, but couldn't tell us in what condition she was in. I'm not sure if it was because she was in surgery or whatever it may be. Everything starts to become a blur after a while. But I remember us being in that little room and the nurse coming in, and I was expecting to hear, you know, she's okay. She was shot, we recovered the bullet, or maybe Sabrina's in critical condition, but we have her stable. All of those things are things that were rushing through my mind, but death was never anything that I thought. When we ever heard that news, Sabrina died. A piece of me that night died. I hope that, you know, whoever did this comes forward. If somebody knows something about this, that they come forward. No family should ever have to go through what my family's going through. Nobody should ever have to go through what Victoria is going through. She sees her mother's picture and she says, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," and she grabs it and she loves it and she hugs the picture and she smiles. She gets happy when she sees her mother. She deserved her mother and her mother deserved her.
Does the police have a suspect, DA or anyone? You know?
Because it's an ongoing investigation, anything that is said could possibly jeopardize the investigation, and then you got that serial transmission. You tell somebody one thing and all of a sudden now they're adding little things here, little things there, and then all of a sudden the story's completely changed. So as far as what they have, I'm not sure. I'm going to tell you right now what my family has to say is I really have no idea who this possibly could be.
So I want to make it's important to note that I contacted Kathy. We had Josh do a live stream, you know, at the memorial you guys had, and we're trying to do as best we can to twofold purpose. One, to, if you know anything, call the police.
Please.
Call the New Bedford police. If you even, doesn't matter how minute you think it is, call the police.
Please.
Let them figure out. It could be bigger than you think. And number two, the GoFundMe is way too low. This is a family now who the mom now has to take care of a 2-year-old, and auntie has to take care of a 2-year-old. I'm sure anyone who's a parent out there understands the cost of that. So we want to really help out. And that's why one thing important to know is I contacted Kathy. I want to make sure this happens. So you guys had the wake and the funeral.
We did. Monday was the wake, and then Tuesday was when we laid her to rest.
So where is she buried now?
She's at the Sacred Heart Cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me another story. It's good to hear. We don't want to forget Sabrina. We have hundreds of, like 100 comments already. People who went to school with her, people who she did nails, people who say they know that she worked at the nail place. So let's tell me another story that's dear to you about her.
Man, story of Sabrina, me and Sabrina, okay. One of the funniest things, and this is something that me and my friend Chrissy always remember, we always talk about this. Me and my friend Chrissy and a couple of other people, we were planning a trip to Canada. I think Sabrina was probably like 5 or 6 years old. We walk in the house and my mother said, "I'm gonna go downstairs and do laundry, watch your sister, she's in the bath." So, okay. When me and Chrissy go in the bath, is, you know, check on her, of course, a 5-year-old, not gonna leave her unattended. We see her laying there in the bathtub with a juice box and some sunglasses. And I'm like, "Sabrina, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm just relaxing at the beach. What are you doing?" She was so funny. She really, really was. She was a jokester, big time. There was whoever, for those that did go to the wake, she was active. Oh my goodness, was she active. There was one time she was running around the house, running in socks. And we had a microwave hutch. And my mother said, "Sabrina, stop running, you're gonna hurt yourself." And of course, you know, they're not gonna listen. And she continued to run. She ended up slipping and sliding in her socks and went flying into the corner of the hutch. It was terrible. She had a black eye for like weeks. And she cried so hard. And then not only that, to top it all off, what she did to match her black eye is she took a pair of scissors and decided to give herself a haircut. She looked so funny. She had a black eye and a messed up hair. And I remember growing up, there was this one picture that 2 weeks after the bad haircut and the black eye happened, we had like a wedding to go to. And there's a picture with her in a little blue dress and a balloon in her hand, pacifier in her mouth, looking so miserable with a black eye and some funny hair. I mean, Sabrina was she was hilarious. She grew up with our cousin TJ, and let me tell you something, she was fire. I think she was probably 10 or 11, and her and my cousin TJ are around the same age. They're different of like 4 or 5 months or something like that. And Sabrina would actually beat him up. She would, one day he looked at her and said a swear word to her, and she said, "What did you say?" And she grabbed him and she started beating him up. And my grandmother and my aunt are running there to try to break them up. She was just, she was funny. She was a lot. She was very protective of who she loved. Absolutely, very protective of who she loved. God, there's just so many memories. It's just so hard to pinpoint all of them.
How is your mom taking all this?
My mom is taking it, my mom is being strong as she can be for the baby. She has her moments, as we all do. Last night was actually really weird because I was on the couch. It was probably about, I already had put the baby to sleep. I stayed with her last night. Put the baby down, and I'm looking at a picture of me and my sister. And my sister, it was a picture that was taken, and I didn't even know that it was being taken, or I can't even remember who took it, but it was probably Thanksgiving or something like that. And she grabbed me forcefully and grabbed me around the neck and gave me this big kiss. And I have like that face of this unexpected, like, yeah, like cheese. And I'm looking at that picture, and I started to think, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, all I'm gonna have is just that. Those memories, those pictures, it's whatever's here and here. It's really sad. My one wish was whether my sister was, passed or not. All I really wanted to was be able to give her one final hug, one final kiss, and even that was taken away from my family. Even that. Not only was her life taken away brutally and so cold-bloodedly, but also our last opportunity to be able to at least hold her hand, whether she'd be breathing or not. That was on July 3rd, and July 4th we had plans to do a little barbecue. Her, my mom, my little niece, we were all gonna hang out, throw some, burgers and steaks, chicken on the grill, dance. Always dancing, always dancing. You had to have music. It's not a party if it doesn't have music, it's not a party. Matter of fact, we're actually, there's the community outreach and the outpour of love and support has been tremendous. I honestly, me and my family are baffled. We would have never thought in a million years that so many people would have so much love in their hearts to reach out and help us in this time of need, in this grieving period in our lives. So much loss and hurt, and it's like it's to the point where you don't know what to do. You don't know whether to. You really don't. There's no answer to anything. You can't do anything to make it better. You can't do anything to forget it. Every day in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I open my eyes and I'm like, and then I look at the picture that's beside my bed. And it all becomes so real again,
So I want to remind everyone, there's a lot of great comments in there. Leave a comment for the family. They're going to see it. Do your part. You don't have to donate if you can't, but you can share this video. You can, if you know someone who knows something or you know something, call the police, get the information. Let's get this guy grabbed. We have a great police force. We have a great DA's office.
Absolutely. Get
them the information they need, and let's get this guy, this murderer, caught, so this family can. It's not going to bring Sabrina back, but it's going to give them a little bit of closure. So do your part, folks.
Absolutely. You know what? I never thought that planning a party for my sister and a gathering would be planning something like this. Would be planning a memorial. Would be planning a card that has all of information with my name on it. It's terrible. I also want to let everybody know that for all of those who are from the area here in New Bedford, there's a wonderful Portuguese restaurant called Churrascaria Avarense. It's right on the corner there of Belleville and Sawyer Street, and they have been so wonderful. They're doing a benefit for my sister's memory, and all of the proceeds are going to go, towards all the funeral expenses, which are so expensive. But whatever's left over is going to be put into a fund for my niece, so that as she gets older, me and my mother have means to buy her first car, so that we have means to put her through school. I'm going to work really, really hard for that little girl. I always have, and now more than ever, I will. The benefit is going to be July 22nd at Central Luso. The tickets are $20. There's going to be food, and actually, I want to let you guys know something that's pretty funny. My mother asked me yesterday as we were picking my sister's headstone, which was also really hard, but they were like, oh, I guess people are saying DJ or no DJ? DJ or no DJ for the benefit? And I said, Ma, is that a question? That's absolutely not a question. There has to be a DJ. And I want all of Sabrina's favorite songs to be played, because that's what she would have wanted. I want my sister's memory and legacy to live on. I don't want her just to be another victim of violence, a victim of a homicide victim, another number 33. That's not my sister. Her name was Sabrina DaSilva, born in 1997 and brutally murdered July 3rd, 2016. So for all of you folks who are in the area, if you feel in your hearts to go to the benefit, I would love to meet you all and shake all your hands. The gratitude, like I said, and I keep saying this, and I feel like maybe it's becoming, I don't want anybody to think it's phony, but I just don't know how else to express myself but say thank you so much, and God bless all of you, each and every one of you, for your love, for your support. And it's not just monetary. Money makes life easier, but just the love and support has been amazing. We have Mary's, home of the steamed cheeseburger here on Union Street. I mean, how amazing was this? I only ate there once, when they had their old location. I haven't been here to the new location yet. And just because they heard of what had happened to my sister, for 2 days in a row, they gathered all of their tip money and said, guys, come eat, and 100% of those proceeds are gonna go to Sabrina DaSilva's family and daughter. And they did that. It's amazing, and I wanna say thank you to Mary's. I got Wicked Clean Dog, is another business who also did the same thing. Go there, support those small businesses, because you know what? They supported me and my family right here, right now. There's Grace Gospel Church that have been doing donations. The mayor's office have been great. I'm gonna tell you something, Chief of Police, what an amazing person. All of the detectives that are have been working so diligently, so hard, and I have faith. My family's Christian, and I am not hey guys, you need to believe in my faith, but I want you guys to know that even if you don't believe in God, I want you to know that I hope that He blesses each and every one of you, in no matter what aspect of your life it may be. And I hope that you never have to go through this pain and suffering in this way. We all know that we're gonna die someday. We all come into this world with an expiration date. But I'm gonna tell you something. I never thought my sister's expiration date would be at 19 years old, leaving behind a little girl. She didn't even have a chance. It's terrible.
So let's take that date again. So when is it, the fundraiser?
February 22nd. If you give me 1 second, guys, I'm just gonna double check on my phone.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna promote that this week.
Awesome,
So you
that
don't
would
have to
be
worry
great.
about that, but we'll make sure we promote that and get people over there.
Yeah, I just wanna
Take your
check
time.
on
It's
my
okay.
Facebook really quickly, just to make sure that I'm giving you guys all the right dates and all this stuff.
So while she's looking that up, so obviously everyone, the funeral expenses, tombstones, everything is very expensive. That's why we're doing this. We reached out to Kathy to really show, and what she said is right. New Bedford community is awesome. And
Absolutely.
the businesses take care of us when we get in a time of need. Mary, she's always giving out tips
Oh
to
my
her
God.
stuff, and she's
Mary,
helping
thank you
out.
so much.
Yep, and then you have all the other businesses as well.
I actually just went on my Facebook, and I'd like to show you guys one more photo. I was my sister's birthing coach when she was giving birth to my niece Victoria, and this was one picture that is beautiful to me. I hope you guys can see that.
Yep, you can see it.
that's when our little baby girl came into this world. It was probably one of the happiest days of my life. She was so beautiful. And I just remember my sister, and we're like, push, 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 push. She did it like a champ. She did it. And the smile on her face when she saw her little girl, she lit up. It was beautiful. Beautiful. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel like maybe I'm getting off track.
That's okay.
Here we go. You know, I have been, the amount of messages, the amount of, like, every time I look down on my phone, I have like a million notifications and posts. Is just insane. Okay, so here is a photo of the tickets that are being sold. I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not.
We got a pink, purple ribbon.
Yep.
So what is the dates? And so it's like July 22nd at Luzo Club. Tickets $20. So we're gonna post that this week, guys. So we'll make sure you're a reminder of that, and we'll put it on our event calendar. So
awesome.
New Bedford community is amazing. We want to get everyone over there. We want to take care of this family. So you're amazing. It's amazing that you can talk like you can right now after such a short time. But please pass on our love to your mom.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep. So this is Kathy. Thanks for having an interview with us.
Thank you.